Hello and welcome. You're watching Tech 24. I'm Julia Seeger. In this edition, we tell you all the ways in which technology is helping to purify water in an eco-friendly manner, making it either drinkable or usable for irrigation purposes. Plus, in Test 24, we introduce you to 4 different robots that have recently caught the eye of French entrepreneurs. Among them, Leenby, a human-like personal assistant. European scientists believe they found a new and natural way to purify sewage water. The solution, they say, lies in small underground microorganisms that produce electricity, enabling them to then break down waste. What's more, this electroactive bacteria can purify water up to 10 times faster than conventional methods. Shirley Sitbon has the story.
This is not a leisure park or a resort, but a new kind of water purification plant.
The wastewater was collected in a nearby town. We purify it in our experimental unit.
Unlike most purification plants, this one doesn't smell like sewage, but it still does the job.
There you go. You can see the difference.
The new method uses bacteria found in underground water, which digest and break down organic material while producing electricity. They're called electroactive bacteria.
Wastewater arrives in the system, which works without any outside energy. The water then interacts with the electroactive bacteria, which produce electricity and cover everything with an electroactive layer. The electrically conductive layer is a physical support, and it also accelerates the process that purifies the water.
The process doesn't generate residue, it doesn't pollute, and is 10 times faster than other natural purifying methods. The water is not for drinking, but can be used for agriculture. In fact, a site like this one generates 25,000 liters per day, which can be enough for a small community.
It's proven that similar technology can work in very cold climates without any problem.
The fact it needs no outside energy means the method can be used in isolated areas, including in developing countries.
And it's time to welcome Dan and Jay Kattlecar on set. Thanks for joining us, Dan.
Thank you, Julia.
Every year, 3.5 million people die because of waterborne diseases. What are some of the methods that exist today to purify water to make it drinkable?
Well, a research group from the University of British Columbia is also using bacteria for water purification. Their system essentially consists of tanks that have fiber membranes in it. So the fiber membrane, it acts as the first line of defense. So as the water passes through the fiber membranes, the contaminants or the pollutants are kept away while the water is allowed to go through. And there's a second line of defense in the form of a biofilm, which is made up of bacteria which knock down these contaminants. So in conventional modes of purification, you will still have contaminants which will be resting on the membranes, which you have to remove them physically. But in this case, you actually have a system which eradicates these contaminants. So this is one of the examples of the use of bacteria in water purification.
And now there's another material that's used, it's graphene, and we're seeing it more and more in filters. Why is that?
Well, because graphene has unique properties. It can be made into extremely thin layers. It is two-dimensional. So for example, you can have stacks of graphene sheets, which makes it more efficient when it comes to water purifying. And secondly, it is an extremely strong material. It is 200 times stronger than steel. So using these properties and nanotechnology, a group of researchers in the University of Manchester, they have created a sieve which enables to not only keep the big salts out of, say, salty water, but also removes the normal salts, the common salts. So this is considered to be a big step ahead in desalination of water.
And now, a couple of years ago, Panasonic announced the development of a new filter, and this time it's using UV radiations. Tell us more about that.
Well, this system, all it needs is sunlight. So the moment the ultraviolet rays fall on this device, it triggers the catalyst, the photocatalyst called titanium dioxide. Now, titanium dioxide is an interesting material because it has inherent properties of getting rid of these pathogens, the microorganic pathogens. So it helps greatly in purifying water. But the only problem is that once these particles of titanium dioxide get dispersed in water, it's very difficult to retain it to take it back. So Panasonic, they found a new compound, or they found a compound which binds these titanium dioxide particles through electrostatic forces. It's called zeolite. So you don't need a separate chemical binder to keep the titanium dioxide and zeolite together. So the moment the ultraviolet rays trigger the titanium dioxide, they disperse in water, they purify the water, and the moment the water is still, these titanium dioxide particles are again attracted back to zeolite, and that's how water purification is done.
Now, this is maybe the most impressive of all. An Israeli company is extracting water from thin air.
That's right. The company's name is WaterGen, and what it does is it essentially applies the basic principles of heat exchange. So this water purifier, or the device, is the core of it is a heat exchanger. So what it does is it sucks in air, preferably humid air, and as it sucks in air, it chills down this humid air. And as it chills, you get water because of condensation. This water is then treated and then it's purified through the use of different systems. And of course, the device itself has the proprietary software embedded in it. And that's how the device is literally able to extract water from thin air.
Thank you. We're going to move on now to Test 24. Dan here is about to bring out an army of robots. For the last 6 years, the French company Cyberdroid has been designing the next generation of androids. A few months ago, we had brought on set Aria. Well, this time around, we're excited to introduce you to her little sister, Leenby.
That's right. Leenby is made by the Limoges-based company Cyberdroid. It's 4.5 feet in height, and it measures around 35 kilograms. It's a companion robot, which means that it can be used in hospitality industries. It can also be used as a guide in museums. So if you are walking around the museum, you can just hold its hand. It can shake hands as well. You can just hold its hand, and then you can inquire about the paintings or different pieces of art you see, and Leenby will reply to your questions. So it is a truly companion robot. It can also take care of old people. That's one of the plans in the future. Now, some of the key components or some of the key features of this robot are that it has multiple sensors, so it can recognize faces. So that's the role played by artificial intelligence inside it. It is also run by a powerful computer with an Intel i5 processor. It has multiple cameras for detection of obstacles. It also has a microphone, so you can converse with it. It apparently converses fluidly in English. You can ask all sorts of questions. So yeah, all in all, it's truly a companion robot.
And now let's talk about this robot. It's actually still a prototype, but this little fellow is already very intelligent. It's called E4.
Yeah.
And what is it made for?
Well, when I heard E4, I thought it was the first chess move. You know, one of the first chess moves is either E4 or D4. But no, it has got, there's a connection with Greek mythology. So in Greek mythology, it means a guardian. So it's a smart robot. It will take care of your home. It can detect multiple things, like it can detect smoke. So the moment it detects smoke, it will send you an alert on your mobile phone through a dedicated application. It can also detect spillage on floor. So if you have spilled water or coffee or any other liquid, it will tell you that this part needs to be taken care of. It will also detect open windows. So if you have left a window open by chance and you have got out, it can detect that as well, and it will send you an alert. So these are some of the functionalities, and it has multiple sensors, again, similar to, which is very common in robots these days. It has a 360-degree camera. On the top. On the top, at the front, you'll have two cameras. One is a high-definition camera, and then there is a camera for sensing depth, and as well as to map out wherever it goes. And one of the key features is, again, it is artificial. It also boasts of artificial intelligence. It can recognize faces. And one of the best features of this bot is that it can send alerts if there are intruders in your house. So you can just...
And I think there's even an alarm and...
It sends an alarm. So not only there's a flashing of light, there's an actual sound alarm as well. So it truly is a safety robot, and it doesn't need to be taken care of. The moment you turn it on, you leave it to its own discretion. Whenever it goes out of charge, it will automatically walk to the charging station and recharge on its own, so you don't have to take care of its charging as well. So this robot has been made by the Paris-based company called AI Mergence. and it is expected to be introduced in the first half of 2018. And the founders are aiming its cost to be around 1,000 euros.
So it is quite expensive. Now, we have other robots here on set, maker robots. Let's start with the spider robot. It really does look like a spider. It's creepy.
It does, and you're right. I find spiders very creepy. I played with it earlier, but I think I'm going to let it rest. Now, the point is that these three robots are a demonstration of how easy it's become to make robots. And this, for example, can be controlled by using a normal PlayStation controller. And these two robots are a bit different because they are called sumo robots. Their only purpose is to fight against each other. So we can have a bit of a combat here. Right. So you choose the other, okay, you choose the blue one. Okay, here we go.
So how do you know which one's going to win?
It's all random. Let's see. Maybe the best will win. You win! Bravo!
That wasn't even a fight. Thank you.
Yeah, so this is a little demonstration of how robots are not just the domain of big companies or big enterprises.
Because these were made by teenagers.
Absolutely.
By students. Thank you so much, Dan. Well, that brings us to the end of this week's edition of Tech 24. We hope you enjoyed it, and do stay with us here on France 24.